the Eagle Tribune football show's Player of the Week, Bubba Sklow. Bubba, got to be a big week in North Andover. You guys are in the D2 state semifinals.
Yep, huge week. Proud of this team. We're doubted the whole season, so getting to this spot right now is a huge accomplishment.
And Bubba, geez, last week, I don't know if the word is surreal. There was some neat stories in the Eagle Tribune. David Willis did a terrific video, and Hector Longo did a terrific column on all you guys were going through with your teammate in such tough shape, James Foote, as he hoping their brother could pull through. Andrew Foote, the North Andover legend who is so sick, Andrew is. How did you guys fight through all that adversity and all that heartache?
Well, we've all been around footy since the 5th grade, and his family is obviously huge around the community, and he's truly one of our brothers. And when footy told us the news, he told us in the locker room 2 days after, and we were all crying. You know, we were around him, and we really had to pull through for James because he's our brothers. He's one of us, and just great player and great person.
Were you surprised, James, with such a heavy heart, thinking of his brother so sick, that he was able to play a game like he did?
I'm gonna be honest. I actually wasn't surprised because footy, he's a tough kid. He's a really tough kid. He's gone through so much, and I knew he was gonna persevere. He was gonna come. He's gonna play on Friday night for us.
Bubba, geez, you've been doing it all for the Knights for the last several years. They got you playing some quarterback, some running back, some wide receiver. There's a terrific picture in the paper, one of the greatest pass deflections I think I've ever seen in my life. You must have like a 40-inch vertical, so really doing it all. What's your role with the Knights these days?
It's literally just whatever we can do to win. Whatever we can do to win ball games. I'll play defensive line if it comes down to it. Just want to help out as much as we can because last year being my senior year, you know, you don't want to have any regrets or anything like that looking back. So literally everything I can do.
What was that atmosphere like for the game? It had to be North Andover's biggest game in whatever 10 or 15 years.
Yep.
It had to be Haverhill's biggest game at least in 10 or 15 years. You guys have played in some Super Bowls back in the day. They just had more the regular playoffs. Might have been their biggest in a half century. What was the hitting like? Two tremendously physical teams.
Well, when we first played Haverhill 3 or 4 weeks ago, our coach Raff really had us thumping each other in practice. We had to be physical against them because they got a lot of big boys up front, and they got a really strong linebacking core. They like to hit people, so we had Oklahoma drill. We had just team defense, just getting after it, and the atmosphere on last Friday night it was awesome. It put me back when I was in 2nd grade, going to Duxbury to see the Knights playing like 2005, and just seeing the community around, just supporting us. It was awesome.
And how about, geez, you guys have a lot more on your plate. I loved Coach Raff's quotes and a little video I saw after the game, and he's just like very dramatic. You know, there's more, fellas. There's bigger. He's holding a beautiful championship plaque, a legendary championship plaque, and he's going, there's more. What was that whole atmosphere like in his sort of post-game speech talking, this isn't it, fellas?
That's a classic Raff right there. It's awesome. He's never satisfied with any win. I don't care if we play the best team, maybe like it's Van or Everett, anything like that. He's never satisfied. He's always looking forward to the next one. After you get one done, we're on to the next. We're always rolling through, and that video is pretty much how Raff controls himself all the time. So
it's funny, Bobby. You got that tricky last name. I know the Tribune never misspells it, and other papers don't misspell it, and now you tell us it's Sklow. So it's mangled by everyone from your own hometown public address announcer to everyone in the league. Did you get used to the name being botched?
Yeah, you know, it's been going on since about 5th grade, the first time I played football. I remember my first game was in Linfield, and the announcer called me Ski Lou. So after that, I'd be prepared for mess up. So.
Huge challenge in front of you. You said you guys are getting used to being overlooked and being the underdogs. Well, Bubba, one more time in the state semis this weekend. You have Marshfield. All they've done is knock off defending state champ Mansfield and undefeated King Philip. They're number 6 in the Boston Herald poll for the entire Eastern Mass All divisions. You guys are number 14. What's the challenge, and can you do it?
I think we can do it. We work hard at practice. We've been film studying nonstop, and they're a great team. Don't get me wrong, but we always like the underdogs, so maybe.
Bubba Sklow, get the name right. After another big win this weekend, it'll be impossible to mangle it. Congratulations, Bubba. with Eagle Tribune Lineman of the Week for our Thursday football show, Davis Potter of Windham High School. Davis, what do you feel like going into the big title game against Superpower St. Thomas Aquinas?
Hey, we've been working real hard over the year in the summer. We're preparing as hard as we can this week, and I think we'll be ready. We got a good team, good quarterback, good line, so we'll just keep working.
You're one of the glamour boys playing on the line, not the biggest kid in the world. How does a kid like you, Coach Raycraft has been bragging about how you played one of the finest two-way games he's seen in a couple of years around here last week. How do you do it without having all the beef of some of the other top linemen?
You look at the average size of our line. We're small, but we're quick, and we put in the work. We work on our technique almost every day in Indy, and we just work really hard at it, and that's what helps us.
Have you always been a lineman, Davis?
I have been, yeah.
And what's the key to your game? What separates you from the average lineman?
Well, I'm not the biggest guy, but I'm quick, and I can get off the ball quick, so that's what helps me.
And do you have to have that nasty streak? You more a technician, or you got that mean streak in you?
Any lineman, you got to have that mean streak. So that definitely adds into it. But that, and I try to work on the technique.
And who have you tried to emulate yourself? Are you a film guy? Was Dad a ball player? You watch Patriot films, or where'd you get that technique that Coach said you're really a technician out there? Where'd you develop that technique? Doesn't just happen naturally, I would imagine.
Good coaching. That's what I get it from. Coach Fenn, coaches back in the day. I've been a lineman my whole life, so that's basically where I've gotten it, just from all the coaching, and we really stress the technique, especially not for the biggest guys. So you gotta have good technique, and you gotta work hard. So.
Obviously, a state final, people are going to be talking about it, but this in particular, you got the great Stephen Hedberg, 2 TD passes. I hate to say it, big guy against you guys, and he'll set the state record. What are your thoughts on facing STA and Hedberg, tremendously prolific passer?
Well, we obviously got a game plan for it, and we're just going to keep doing what we do, working hard, and just making sure we have everything in place. So
I love the mantra you guys have had pretty much throughout the year, 38 miles, and I asked my young friend David Willis, is they referring to M&M? He says that's the distance between Windham and Durham, playing at the site of the #1 team in the country. What's that like for a New Hampshire kid playing with the Wildcats stadium?
It's awesome. That's one of the coolest things. I know down in Mass they do the Gillette Stadium thing, and now bringing that to New Hampshire, that's the coolest thing. I love it.
And how about extra pressure being an unbeaten squad for you guys?
Well, we just take it week to week. We're just doing what we do, putting in the work. So.
How about you, David? So it hasn't been the easiest season for you, right? You hope to go out. In a way, you're going out on top senior year, but you've had some health issues that have been a little bit troubling. Take us through what's happened to you your senior year.
Well, earlier in the year, I got a concussion, so that's just. I've been struggling with that a little bit.
Are you back, or is that still sort of an issue?
Oh, no, I'm back now. Yeah, that's healed.
And how many games did you miss?
Most of the season, I believe, maybe 7.
And what's that like? After 7 games, you're thinking it's just not in the cards? I lost my senior year, that there's no justice in the world? Or did you know you could come back?
I took that week to week myself, but we got Kevin, good trainer, so he had me on the quality concussion regimen. I went and saw a few doctors, and I took it easy and came back from it.
What was the low point, Davis, as you're going through that difficult struggle you wouldn't wish on any kid?
Yeah, concussions blow. But, literally, I just took that week to week because it's symptomatic and taking the tests. So.
What did it mean to come back that first game, to put that long 2 months of torture behind you?
Oh, man, it felt awesome. Just coming back and playing and being with the guys, that felt really good.
What's it going to be like if you go out on top beating the team that just beat fellow unbeaten Kennett the week before and stopping the great Stephen Hedberg?
That would be incredible. Just winning a championship, that's every kid's dream in New Hampshire. So,
good luck, Davis.
That'd be awesome. Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Welcome back. The season is growing to a close, but we still have a few more high school football shows. This is Mike Muldoon. I am David Willis. Mike, we have a very special show and a very special weekend of high school football. It's championship week. We have two New Hampshire teams playing for state titles. Pinkerton's playing for the D1 title. Windham's playing for the D2 title. And of course, North Andover, maybe a team of destiny, who knows, playing for a berth in the Division II Super Bowl. So, let's take a look at the schedule. I just went down it real quick, and let's start with North Andover. They're playing Saturday night. They are playing South Champ Marshfield at Brockton. I forgot to say that. Mm-hmm. And this looks like it's going to be an absolute battle.
Yeah, the Marshfield is one heck of a quality club. In the Boston Herald Eastern Mass poll for every division overall, they have Marshfield number 6, even ahead of Central Catholic, so you know that's a pretty quality club. Mm-hmm. And North Andover is 14. It's funny, it's been a weird road for Marshfield, a real strong program under Lou Silva, I think 34 years, 214 wins, so one of the state's best coaches. Always a winning program, but 2 years ago, winless, which is disastrous. You wonder, is he getting a little old, losing the fastball? Last year, 5-6. This year, beat unbeaten King Philip the last round. The round before, they beat defending state champ Mansfield, I think it was. So they're on a roll, and it's a brilliant junior class. So you better get them this year, because I don't think anybody's going to touch them next year. All their top players are juniors.
Right. They can throw the ball around a lot. Jack Masterson, he's got 1,355 yards, 11 touchdowns. Frank Catanzo is his top target, 648 yards, 9 touchdowns. So they have a pretty good offense. But man, North Andover is good.
Yeah, you had mentioned that the team of destiny thing, and I don't know, you usually say that after the fact.
I said, could they be a team of destiny?
They could be, and of course the Foote family story has been well chronicled with North Andover legend Andrew Foote, so sick and fighting for his life, and his brother starring, and the whole team being inspired by him. So you have that heart-wrenching story, and they're playing some good football. We talked to Bubba Sklow. He told us Sklow as in ow, as in pow, and Bubba is, if Bubba's not the best player in the area, he's on a very, very short list. So he's leading the way. You got, you got James Foote. You got Falaris. The line is tremendous. Coach Rafferty has those boys running through walls. So it's going to be one heck of a matchup. There's no question about it.
Foote's a very good running back. James Foote deserves credit too for he is a very good running back. Bubba is absolutely. He's awesome. He does it all. He plays quarterback, he plays running back, he plays receiver, and he's fantastic at all of them. Awesome defensive back, great kick returner. And the other kick returners could be even better. Juca Morales, who had his big coming out party last week, running for 2 touchdowns. They've got a lot of weapons on offense. And defensively, like you said, the line is great. They have a lot of players running around making tackles, and you can't throw a Bubba. You can't do it.
Was it our own Carl Russo who had the classic shot of Bubba knocking down the pass last week? And I think it's fair to say the best leaper in the area has to be Bubba, because he is skying for the one-handed deflection against a really good Haverhill club. 4 shutouts in the last 5 games, 13 points in 5 games. So their defense, if it's not the best in the state, it's at least the hottest in the state.
Credit where credit's due. That picture is actually taken by Tim Jean.
Good job, Timmy Jean.
So, with the Battle of Gillette on the line, and maybe it's just I've seen them so much, maybe I'm still caught up in the emotion of the last game, which was tremendously emotional. I think North Andover wins this one.
Yeah, I don't know. The Marshfield, the road they got here is sort of amazing, and they've won 9 straight, and their only loss was to Division I finalist BC High, so you're talking big boy football for a Division II team. I think I'm going to go with the Rams.
All right. Fair enough. Okay, and now we're going to go up to New Hampshire, and I'm going to go just by time here. The earlier game, the 2:30 game, we're at UNH, by the way. They're at the championship. First time New Hampshire's going to be playing their championship games not at the home of the higher seed. We have Windham, which is the higher seed, they're the home team against St. Thomas Aquinas. And this is a team, talk about throwing the ball around. Stephen Hedberg, ooh, this guy's putting up some monster numbers. I looked it up, 2,058 yards, 31 touchdowns. That's monster numbers.
Yeah, according to a couple of websites, I think it was NH Football Report had him tying the state record with 31 TD passes this year. So you got your lead if he doesn't break the record. Windham defense did the impossible, and they shut down Mr. Hedberg, who I believe is only a junior.
Yeah, he is. First-year starters, man.
Wow.
Yeah, Liam Middleton and Nate Grundbeck are his two top receivers. They're both over 500 yards. Mike Murray's their top tackler. So, this is a very good team and obviously a very competitive program. A program that's good. But, man, Windham is just playing lights out. And they haven't been challenged basically at all. Although, I will say that Hollis Brookline played a tough game, and Windham didn't really pull away until late. But, man, they just have so many weapons.
Yeah, and Brendan McInnes, and you get a great story coming out on him in the Saturday paper. And that's one heck of a story you got on that. So make sure you pick up Saturday's paper. But you got him as the dual threat quarterback, and I don't know if he's Dartmouth's top recruit, but he's at the top of the list. Apparently Dartmouth loves him, and you can see why. You watch him play, and he's a big boy football player.
How do you only throw one interception? How do you go through an entire season throwing one interception? It's not like it's a single wing offense. They're throwing the ball.
Yeah.
It's not, he's not throwing the ball 40 times a game. He's out there actively throwing the ball, and they're not safe passes either. It's crazy, and he's got a lot of great receivers. I wrote about Joe Frake last week. He's a heck of a receiver. Anthony Gallo, who's also a hell of a kicker.
Yeah, it was a 39-yard boot the other day.
Yeah, and he really boots it. He's a very good receiver. They've got good running backs. They've got so many players capable of taking over this game. And, then you talk about good lines. We featured one of their linemen here.
How cool is our boy Davis Potter?
Pretty darn cool.
That is, moms in the Windham area, if you have a daughter, Davis Potter's your guy. What a
horn-rimmed glasses and everything.
Yes.
I have trouble seeing a team slowing this offense down, even if they slow down the pass.
What offense are you referring to, Mr. Willis?
I'm referring to the Windham offense.
They're both pretty potent.
Yes, and again, I haven't seen the St. Thomas offense, but I have seen the Windham offense. And I don't know if a team can slow them down. Even if they somehow manage to slow down Brendan McInnes, I'm not sure they can. And they have a pretty nasty defensive. I saw Frake grabbed a couple interceptions last week. The Jags are good, man.
Yeah, although St. Thomas is sort of the power in the division historically. They beat the Jags 3 years ago for the title when the Jags were really in their infancy as a school. It was very impressive that they made it that far. They beat unbeaten Kennett last week, and Kennett, much like Windham, which is 3 shutouts in 5 of the 10 games they've held the opposition to single digits. Was right up there for the top defenses in the state. I think they'd given up 12 points a game, and St. Thomas with 48. I think it was 48-22. So that tells you they can really put points on the board when they do that against an unbeaten Kennett team that had only been giving up 12 points a game. So it's going to be a fascinating game. This is definitely a game you want to get to. You got to get there for the doubleheader if you're any sort of football fan.
No question. I'll be there. Mike, pick time. I'm going to let you go first.
This is one. I'll go with Windham 24-23.
You know what? I would go a little higher in the score, but I fear being called the homer here, but I really think Windham's going to win this. I think Brendan McInnes is going to cap off his high school career with real stuff.
Really? A homer just because the last 38 playoff games you won with the local team 38 times, Dave? You're not a homer.
I don't think that's true. I don't think that's true. Maybe it is, though. Okay, and we'll see what happens when I go to the next one. In our last game of the day, we've got Pinkerton looking to finally snap that state championship drought they've been on the last few years where they've made it and lost. Facing Bedford once again at UNH. Now, we would have had that fun story, not us, but other places, with Andy Valis, the UNH quarterback's little brother, Mike Valis, would have been playing quarterback for Bedford, but he's hurt. So he's out, and so Bedford's coming with their backup quarterback, which could be a big problem against the Pinkerton
Yeah.
team that, I mean, has just destroyed everybody this season.
Yeah, the kid who's, they did the smart thing. They probably moved the best athlete, I would imagine. I think Tyler Sabati, the wide receiver, I believe, has made the switch and just crunching the numbers. 14 of 20 for 186 yards. So those aren't bad numbers, but I think maybe he's more a very effective game manager as opposed to a real star player of the year type of player like Mike Valis, who just committed to Division I powerhouse Bryant for lacrosse. Play with one of his other brothers, so he's from a real legendary family. But it's hard to poo-poo the loss. And this guy will just come in, a Mallet or Hoyer or that type of deal, and fill the gap. It's awfully tough. A couple of 11-0 teams. You got Jack Hanaway, a school choice kid from Bedford. So there's so many great angles to it. I just wonder if a little bit of the air was let out of the sails, so to speak, with Valis going down. It just seems like 11-0 though. You can't overlook them. They're 11-0 for a reason, but I think you'd really need your A game to knock off Pinkerton. Perhaps they'd have a chance with Valis. I don't know without him.
With Valis, I think it could be a very close game. Without, I will say Jack Hanaway, who you just mentioned, has really stepped up his game. A solid game manager last year. A good quarterback through a lot of this year, has really taken it up a notch, and he's a heck of an athlete. He's really a very impressive athlete. Obviously TJ Urbanek, one of the fastest kids around. I think Pinkerton's finally going to break through with this one.
Yeah, well, they have the run they're on is, I would imagine it's historic without really doing all the research, but 10 times in the finals in 11 years. Has anybody in state history done it? Maybe once, maybe not. I mean, 10 of 11, you certainly don't see that very often. They wish they probably had a couple more titles in that stretch. They probably won half or whatever it is in that stretch. Let a couple get away. But Urbanek and Hanaway, they got the great kicker and Kyle Canalupo. Sorry about the Muldoon curse, Kyle. I think he's 48 of 49. I wrote about him not missing it. He missed one, but he's one of the state's premier kickers. So you would imagine with a shorthanded Bedford, it's going to be a tough task. So I think I'm going with Pinkerton 35-19.
Been a few tough losses in a row in the state championship game for Pinkerton. It's going to end here. Pinkerton's going to win. Who knows? We'll never know what could have happened if Valis was there, but I think, unlike my colleague Dave Dyer, who I believe, he went 0 for 2 and he picked both New Hampshire teams to lose. We're both going both New Hampshire teams to win. All right, so you got to do one or two things. You can't go to all of them. I wish I could. I know that. You got to go up. Either you're going to Brockton to go to North Andover, or you're going to UNH to go to both New Hampshire games, and go to both too. Seriously, it'll be great stuff. All right? So go to something, see something. They're going to be amazing games. Thanks a lot.